So here's a little fun fact to start today's vlog off, is I actually filmed the next vlog yesterday because I screwed up my numbers. I thought I had already filmed vlog number 30. This is vlog number 30, so I already made 31, which means I went from 29 to 31. So this is number 30. And then the next vlog was filmed yesterday, so you're going to be stepping back in time a day when you see the next vlog after this one. But on a side note in that reference is, you know, when I filmed yesterday's vlog, it was in the 50s, the sun was out, I was outside tearing a car apart for the vlog. And today, I'm in my winter jacket. There was a couple of inches of snow on the ground. It's like the high 20s now. It's kind of a good thing because my vlog topic today is going to be talking about something on our cars that we don't really think about. We don't think about at all until we actually need them. And I'm here to talk about how, you know, when you're not really using them, how you really should pay a little more attention to them if you don't already. And it's probably one of the most boring things on a car, if not the most boring. And it's probably one of the most boring things to ever talk about. But today, we're going to talk about windshield wipers. And I'm talking about windshield wipers because, again, with the weather scenario here, whether it's snow or rain, you want to make sure that your wipers are in good shape. You want to make sure they are in good working order. And you want to make sure that they're going to be there for you, because in any situation with the weather where you have some snow or rain, the simplest item there could cause you to be in a possibly deadly situation. Something to think about, huh? Now, what do I have in my mind in regards to windshield wipers to actually discuss with you guys? I kind of want to tell you about how to make your windshield wipers and your windshield wiper components, such as the motor itself and whatnot. I want to kind of tell you guys how you can make them last longer in life. And again, it's only a windshield wiper, right? Windshield wiper blades cost from like $5. They can go up to $20 depending on your brand or style that you want to put on your vehicle. But either way, you can make even the cheapest of blades possibly last longer if they are maintained properly and used in the correct situations, which is why I am talking about this stuff today. It's honestly kind of a personal pet peeve of mine also. I hate seeing vehicles out there where, like, if there's just a slight mist and it's not really raining at all, and people are driving around with their windshield wipers on full blast, and I don't know, it just kind of irks me a little bit because it's not necessary. Granted, there might be a few situations where the only option on your car is to use them on high blast. I know some cars, maybe all cars, but we had a car one time where one of the relays in the wiper motor blew out, and the only way you could use the wipers were on high. That I understand. But if you can avoid using your wipers on high all the time, you really should take that in consideration, which is something I'm going to get into here a little bit later on down the way. Now, as I have mentioned, the windshield wipers are probably one of the items on your car that you never think of until you need them to be there for you, which means you probably don't pay attention to them in any other situation. This video, I'm just going to discuss a few things that you can do to possibly make your wiper blades last longer and possibly keep all of the other components to your windshield wiper system in working order as well. And I'm going to start off with something very simple. The first thing that I want to say, and seriously, even if you don't abide or listen to anything that I say later on in this video about your wipers, this one thing here could possibly, you know, make your wipers last a lot longer by themselves, other than anything else in this video. But it's something so simple, anybody can do it if you don't do it already. The first thing I have to say to help keeping your wipers live longer is keeping them clean. Yes, maintenance begins with keeping them clean, because a clean blade will last longer than a dirty blade. And it's something really simple, and I do it every time that I wash my vehicle. Doesn't take long at all. You just bring your wiper up, you get your sponge or your rag or whatever with your soapy water, and just give it maybe 1 or 2 passes right on down the blade here. And keeping all of the dirt and stuff off of the blade will not only help you see better, but it won't chew up the rubber on the edge of the wipers. And a lot of times when the rubber gets chewed up, that is why you have problems with visibility. Now, the blades on the Escape were on this car when I bought them. I have not changed them yet, and I can still see perfectly fine out of this windshield with these blades. So I haven't changed these yet, and like I said, I always make sure that they are washed when I wash the car. Another thing to help too is, like, I use a wet and dry spray wax when I am washing and drying the car, and I apply that stuff to the windows as well, on the windshield. You can use like your Rain-X and stuff. Anything to kind of repel water off will also help keep the wiper blades lasting longer. And that's going to kind of lead into my second topic. Now, before I close out this first suggestion on how to keep your wipers, lasting longer, I do want to, mention that if you don't wash your car, if you take your car to, one of the automated car washes or such, you don't have to necessarily be washing your car in whole. I usually wash everything at once when I'm out there. But all you really have to do is, just make sure your windshield's clean. Take some Windex or something and spray your windshield off. And then just grab, like I said, a warm soapy rag or something, and just kind of wipe off the edge of the blades. If you keep your wipers clean, they really do. It really will help make the wipers last longer. Like, my wipers are still in really good shape. I've had this car for like 1.5 years, and I have not changed the blades yet. I don't know how long those blades have been on there. I'm assuming maybe they were put on shortly before I purchased the car, but I haven't had to change them yet. And because I keep the blades clean every time I wash the car, and I wash the windshield and apply like a spray wax to the windshield and such, I haven't had the need to change them yet. So that's one of the things there that I can offer you folks out there to keep your visibility in top notch. Is if your wipers are already in really good shape like these were, you can keep them that way by keeping them clean and keeping the windshield smooth also. Now, going into the next topic is the usage of your wipers. This may vary. I guess what I'm trying to say is I usually try not to overuse the windshield wipers, and I suggest it to anybody else also. Now, this goes also, with saying that you want to make sure that you can see perfectly fine. So if you are caught in the middle of a heavy rainstorm and you can't see anything in front of you, the windshield's constantly covered in water, and you just can't see, don't be driving with your windshield wipers on a delay. That's kind of what I'm saying. You obviously want to use your wipers on high, but if it's a rain that is, like a drizzle, or if you can still see without actually using the wipers all that often, I will use the delay or even like a mist function on my vehicle. So many vehicles out there today, 9 times out of 10, they might have a delay, which is basically a couple of speeds right before low and high, obviously. This car here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe, before it goes to low and high. So there's basically 5 different timer settings for each wiper to activate. Your lowest is going to be your longest break between cycles, and the highest is going to be a really short break in between your wiper cycle. But usually when I'm driving my vehicle, I usually have it in somewhere in the delay. I don't usually use low or high unless it's absolutely mandatory, because as I mentioned, if you keep your windshield coated with some sort of spray wax or like a Rain-X water repellent, you don't really need to use your wipers all that often. If you are in a vehicle where you don't have a delay cycle, you can just flick your wipers on to low real quick to get one pass and then turn them right off. But I'm saying all this because if you improperly use your wipers, if you're driving with your wipers on low and there's like 1 or 2 raindrops constantly going onto the windshield, you're not only going to ruin the wipers, you're going to ruin the motor itself. You just want your wiper motor to always be there for you. You don't want to ever have a situation where you go to turn your wipers on and you either have nothing at all or you're stuck on high all the time. I mean, as long as you can see, you can see. But as long as I can make past water drops and such as I'm driving, I don't like to use the wipers in full motion. I will use delay most often. And be mindful when you're driving, you know, and there's a lot of rain and you're using your wipers on a continuous cycle. If you happen to notice, you know, like I'm always paying attention when I'm driving. If I see the water, like if the rain starts to slow down, you know, I'll notice it and I'll turn the wipers down. That way, you know, the wipers aren't still in full motion when there's less water on the windshield. Less water, again, on a drier windshield could wear out the blades and the wiper motor components much faster. So I'm always paying attention to the speed of the rain or snow as it is falling onto the windshield, and I make my wiper adjustments accordingly to that. Another thing that you want to do, my third suggestion, and this goes for weather like today where it's snowy and icy and such, you never want to try to use your windshield wipers when they are frozen to the windshield. Trying to use your wipers when the vehicle is frozen all over can cause damage to the wiper motor itself, to the blades, to the arms. You can completely ruin something just because of a little bit of ice. Some cars nowadays, like the Grand Prix, if the wipers happen to be stuck on the Grand Prix, it would try to go up and then the motor would actually stop trying. So I don't know how many other vehicles will stop trying, but it is a safety mechanism so that way the motor doesn't overheat and burn out and such, or you cause any damage to other wiper components. Just in general, make sure that your wipers are always free off of your windshield when there is snow or ice on it. Try to carefully, you know, pry the wipers off if you can. Wait for the vehicle to defrost the windshield so some of that ice and snow starts to melt. But never try to use your wipers when there's any ice keeping them from moving. Now the fourth thing that I have, and most probably the final thing that I have, is making sure that you turn your wipers off before you leave the vehicle. And I'm guilty of doing this. I've done this many times before, but I've tried to make it a habit where, you know, if it's raining and I park my vehicle, I want to turn them off before I actually shut off the car and make sure the wipers are in a down position. Probably not a good idea to leave your wipers standing up or up here because, you know, once you turn the car on and it happens to be dry outside, that cycle is going to finish and your blades are going to be scraping against a dry windshield. There again, putting strain on the motor temporarily and rubbing the dry surface with the wiper blades can also wear the blades down, especially if the windshield happens to be dirty. That's where you'll start getting your dirt and your grime cutting into the blades, and then your view is just not as good. So there again, I think for the most part, it really doesn't matter what brand of wipers you buy. You can buy the $5 blades. You can buy the $20 blades. You can make your blades last just by trying to follow these simple tips about your windshield wiper blade maintenance and your windshield wiper blade usage. You can buy the crappiest of blades, and sure, there might be some really crappy ones out there that will fall apart instantly. I've had a couple of those, yes I have. I think we all have. But for the most part, a lot of blades should be You should be able to get a couple months out of a pair of blades. You can probably get more time out of those simpler blades just by following these simple tips. A really weird conversation here that I've had with you guys about windshield wiper blades, but something that I thought of recently in regards to the wet and snowy weather. Hopefully, you know, you guys will see a difference in your wiper blade life if you follow these tips. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also check out Mike's Vehicle Spotlight, which is my official vehicle touring segment that I post right here on this channel. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, so take care.